Greetings, brothers and sisters. How you doing? This one, I just felt like sometimes I usually don't know why I'm doing it. I just listen and to what I'm being shown, I guess, or told, and I just maybe this will just help the right person. Like this, yeah, this. If you've seen any of my, like, I guess my first bunch of videos, I probably talked about this stuff, but I want to do it clearer and just more concise and whatever, and just who knows, maybe I'll say something different, even if you did see those. So yeah, like I said, I just go with the flow, and I just make the ones I think are supposed to be made, and well, I just once I get tapped in, it just comes to me, and I'm like, oh, I gotta do that one. So yeah, but I just wanted to do this one to show you guys that, like, things don't just appear out of nowhere. They don't just happen out of nowhere. And yeah, like I've been trying to say, maybe some of my stuff will resonate with you, and you can look into yourself and into your journey and relate to it. So yeah, so I'm in the little gazebo, the little garden at the library here. So hopefully not many cars will be coming by, but yeah, so the health issues. I'll just give you a background of the health issues. The health issues, man, basically had asthma my whole life since I was 2, basically, and I took all sorts of stuff for a while. Up until the last 3 years, I only took the inhaler, and it wasn't severe, but it was still, it was not cool. I mean, it still was like, wow, lymphatic issues, you know, and I just didn't know that at the time, and right? If we only knew then, but we're here now, guys. And so besides that, yeah, I was just really congested a lot. I never had good health. Then, you know, I had just bowel stuff, which mostly started when I was about 16, and I was skateboarding, and I fractured my pelvis, broke my hip, and right after that, all sorts of neurological stuff, sensitivity, and severe bowel stuff started right after that. And it's like everything's connected. So so that's what happened. And yeah, basically the kidneys and the prostate and all sorts of stuff, like, got kind of, everything got affected. Every single thing in my body got affected by that in a huge way. And what else? So, you know, I'd been on the, like I said, the asthma drugs, and God, who knows what else. And the vaccines probably, and all sorts of stuff. And then I just stopped going to doctors pretty much a long time ago. I don't even know how many years ago. 14 years ago, who knows. And it was just, I never bought it, never helped me, and they could never explain anything to me. They could just, you know what I'm saying. Most of you guys do. And so, but yeah, I did did drugs, man. I did the good, the bad, and the ugly. And a lot of the bad and the ugly. A lot of stuff for spiritual reasons, and that actually helped me a lot to actually get out of the really bad drugs. So, but yeah, that so, you know, that's what else. Yeah, I just always had the coughing and the throat, and when I started smoking cigarettes and doing the drugs, that just obviously made things a whole lot worse. And yeah, basically the diet. along the lines of with the throat and the coughing and all that, like, it's like this is what happens. It's like I had this time, the first year and a half, 2 years after I quit smoking cigarettes, probably the first year after I quit, that I was never sicker like in my entire life at that point. And I just like couldn't talk for like 6 months almost, like almost every day I couldn't talk, like my voice was hoarse, and man, I was so congested, and and it was itchy, and it was hard to get out. It was just like, it was horrible. I couldn't go to work, like I couldn't do anything, and basically around that time I started doing a little bit more raw, and I was eating a lot of oranges. I started eating a lot of oranges, and so you see how that stuff. I know that if I went all the way on the oranges at that point, it would have ripped me a lot harder, but it would have healed me a lot faster. But back then I didn't know these things. I was just trying to go from a sad diet to a better diet, a way better diet, but it was not even close to the diet I have now and the lifestyle I have now. But it's like, yeah, so like that slowly went away with the oranges. And I guess I'll just talk about my diet from basically the last 10 years has been very clean compared to 99% of people. Very clean, but clean isn't always good. Clean is, just because something's clean doesn't mean it's not going to congest you and not going to hurt your kidneys and fill your body with mucus, you know. So I was, you know, organic, grass-fed, all that, non-GMO, very health conscious. I thought for a while, but yet I was always sick, you know. So yeah, I stopped the I got a juicer like 8 years ago. Started juicing, was doing a lot more raw, like, yeah, 9-10 years ago. Slowly from the course of when I got really sick a year and a half ago, disease, and 10 years ago when I started doing the raw stuff, like things just started to like slowly, there was less raw, less fruit, like it's like, man, like pretty much like the 3 years before, the last 3 years basically, well, I would say, well, a year and a half ago I just went all fruit, but before that, like that 3 years before that, like I was only eating Lara bars, those nut and date bars. That's the only fruit, for the most part, I was, you know, getting, and it was just like the same thing. Like I had this thing where I'll just eat the same crap all the time, like like the same habits, and it's one of those things that's and strange, but like that's just one part of it. Oh, you weren't having fruit, you were having dehydrated dates as your fruit for the most part, and you were having salads, but a lot of cooked vegetables and high protein, high grain, high oils, moderate to high meat, depending on, you know, like I said, this is like a 10-year period of eating better than I was for the first half of my life, but or not the first half, but most of my life, right? But I wasn't eating super optimal. I wasn't living close to mostly raw. You know, I wasn't doing that at all. And what else? Yeah, like I basically, when I started traveling about 7 years ago, everything's like, for a while I was really good. I was still going, and but I was still overeating. I was always overeating. And basically I started climbing and hiking, like, for years. Like that's like all I did. And so slowly, like, and that was the end of, right before a year and a half ago, when everything crashed in my system. It's like, well, you had no fruit, and you started to eat rice chips because you were always in the mountains, and you were eating these turkey sticks, these organic turkey sticks, and you were just like, you were so acidic. And I just, I kind of lost some of my values with, eating processed food and stuff. But I was like I was super into uh, going out into nature and just yeah, going out, getting overexerting myself, which I guess I'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, I would just do a lot of things that were really weird over the course of yeah, that 10 years. Like I would eat for a while. I was just I was always too much nuts, like way too much nut butter. I was peanut butter for a while, and since I had horrible gut problems for so long, I went to almond butter because of the aflatoxin, the mold that's in the peanut butter, and that improved stuff, but it didn't heal anything. It was like, man, you're still a mess down here. Your body's still just struggling. And I would also, like, you know, and then I did the gluten-free bread for so long, and then it's like, then I went to rice cakes to improve it, but it was just, and I would just do that, and I would just eat that like every morning, almond butter with rice cakes, and like that's not a good way to start your morning every single day for like 3 years. Like when I look back now, knowing what I know, I'm like, what? But it's just, it's good. I'm happy to be here now with the knowledge of the truth, and yeah, I'm just sharing my story, guys. And so basically, a year and a half ago, when my system just completely crashed, a lot of these health issues that I had before, like the asthma, it was, you know, it was, like I said, I was only on an inhaler. That was the only drug I took, and basically, but you know, it was still like I just would have to use it before I would go for like go hiking, or and then I'd be good for most of the day. But I still would use it too much. And so what else? The bowels at that point, a year and a half ago, like they just got worse and worse and worse and worse since I broke my hip, and worse and worse, and like the worst bloating. Like I've spent probably years of my life bloated, like the worst never-ending bloat, and just the most irritable ulcerative colitis type things. No blood, not severe compared to a lot of people, but severe in the sense of I've never wasn't able to live a normal life ever. And yeah, it was rough. And what else? A year and a half ago, my sleep, for about 2 years up until then, and even a lot of the last year has been so hard to sleep, and but it's gotten way better. But sleep was so bad. I would just lose out on sleep. I was really active. I was working too much. I was stressed with work, and then I was isolated, and all these things put together. And I'll get into the emotional and the habits and stuff in a minute, but yeah, I mean, you just put all this stuff together, and this isn't even done yet, and it's just like, you understand why it just did not happen. This did not happen for just no freaking reason. It's cause and effect, guys. That's just how it goes. So, but I was just, I was having the postnasal drip, like all-time horribleness, like just like clogged, just always coughing stuff, but it was always white. I wasn't really getting anything out, but it was kind of rubbery, so it was kind of, I was getting stuff out, but nothing deep, not even the acute stuff, just getting the surface level stuff that I was putting back into my body that was recent, you know, that I was eating, and my body was like, no, stop eating all that, you know. So that's what was happening, and it was so clogged with mucus that like I said, I was coughing, and like, I know it's gross, but this is what it was. And a lot of the times, I would just like, mucus I would just, like, my body was trying to get it out, like the plaque, there was so much plaque that my body was just like trying to get it out, and it was just like, sometimes there would just be mucus, not a lot usually, just because I wasn't doing what I needed to do to actually get rid of everything and go on a fast of some sort. But that's what was happening, and it was, what else? So everything was just clogged. Everything from that throat, that I didn't really heal that throat thing. That thing, like, yeah, I slowly got better, but then when my diet got worse again, really worse, in a weird kind of way, a very weird kind of way, then everything just accumulated in my system. It just totally accumulated, and yeah, I had I just had crazy sensitivity at all-time high a year and a half ago. Like the worst fatigue, the worst like pain, and the worst like just itching and all sorts of stuff, and unable to just think about thinking, like pain just to exist, and so much weakness, like I wasn't able to do anything. No, just super weak. And so all this stuff, what else? The sexual life was rarely like close to optimal, basically my whole life. And what else? Yeah, like the kidneys, prostate, all these things. That prostate, I don't think was that. It wasn't super inflamed and stuff like when I was like 18, but a year and a half ago, my whole body was covered with stuff. So it's just, you know. But yeah, I had nerve issues. I just had crazy nerve issues because of the hip, and just because of my adrenals, and because of the emotional stuff, which I'll get into. But yeah, I just wasn't listening to my body at all. I wasn't listening. We gotta listen. We gotta learn to. Oh, I'm saying it for me. I'm saying it's a process, but everything improves when you do it. You know, when you work on it, when you do the work, and yeah. So some bad habits that I had been practicing was before I traveled for like 7 years. I was like hitting the chiropractor 3 times a week. I wasn't really doing yoga, but I was doing like an hour of stretching a day. I was pretty dedicated to a lot of things, and then like when I started to travel, I stopped going to the chiropractor, stopped stretching. Even though I was like, for work, I would drive like insane amounts of miles, hours every day, and like and just for travel I would do that. And it's like when I got to like you know, driving for 2 days, and like with a broken hip, and like you're eating the wrong food, and then you get out and you're not stretching, and you just go right, and you just start climbing mountains as fast as you can. It's like I wasn't resting at all. My whole life I never knew how to rest, so that's what I've been learning a lot this year and a half. It's been thank God I'm in this spot to learn it. I'm very blessed. But yeah, like, you know, for a while I was doing the meditation, but when I got on the road, like, yeah, I was still doing some forms of it, but it was just a lot of stuff got different. And yeah, overexerting myself, I said that already, eating to sleep, and just escaping with food a lot. And like that was like yeah, I escaped with food so much back then, so much. And yeah, and I was just really isolated, and I was just I want to say that, yeah, yeah, I was going inward too much in like the wrong ways, basically. So I was like just removed from everyone for so long, just because I had all this emotional stuff, and my body wasn't working right. I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin my whole life. I hadn't, only recently with getting the nerves healed, and hitting the high fruit for most of this year and a half, like almost 100% fruit for most of it, and it's except for the mess ups. And I've been regenerated in that sense. Like I got the mind-body connection, which I could never imagine before. I could never experience that before until with the like I said. And yeah, super fortunate to finally to figure out to do the work, and to really just really zone in and do the work, and finally have the truthful information. It's like, man, if I just knew the right way. That's how it was for so long. It was like I would always just be like on the computer, or you know, searching on Google and being like, oh, I wonder, it's like, oh, is there a cure for this or a cure for this? I was just so misled. I was like, oh, I'll try Hulda Clark. I'll try her stuff. Oh, I'll try this. Oh, I'll ferment I'll make sauerkraut. Oh, I was just trying anything. I'll take any of these supplements. I'll try anything. It's like, man, so glad to be found now. So glad to be found and not be in that freaking lost world. You know, it's not a fun place, guys. You know, it's not a fun place. So, yeah, so the emotions, basically, the emotions and the mind state and all that, like, I had a lot of unresolved trauma that was, like, coming up, like, in my dreams, and, like, giving me nightmares and all this stuff, like, the last 2 years before I crashed a year and a half ago. And so I went to military school. It was basically just like it was a troubled teen industry. Those guys, they're scumbags, and it's basically like a slave camp or a prison for kids. It's not juvie, but it's and so so I have a lot of stuff that is, I don't know how long it's going to take to do the work for that, but I've been doing it. So the trauma's hard, guys. Trauma's hard. I also had, like, you know, a few really abusive, just ex-girlfriends, and I still to this day have a lot of, just from all the trauma. I still have some, like, residues of just pain and a little bit of fear and anxiety. Well, sometimes a lot of fear, but just I had a lot of, a lot of this, like I was saying earlier about taking things to taking substances as a spiritual, for spiritual growth. That had helped me quite a bit when I stopped doing the bad drugs. But there's a point where I was just it kind of really fried me, and a lot of it. I went deeper than most people will ever believe, but so I kind of have, like, this unresolved fear, and like I said, all sorts of stuff like that I'm trying to still deal with. But, you know, it's just work. It's just working on yourself. It's just growing. It's just going towards, you know, the beautiful, the wonderful, the enchanting life. You know, not the opposite of that, where it's like you're struggling and you just feel stagnant all the time and blah blah blah. You don't want, you know, and it's just like, I don't know, guys. It's like I have a lot of work right here, a lot of it, and it's I know you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's like, man, it's like the more you do it, it's like, seems like there's just more and more. You're climbing this endless mountain. But you know, it's good though. I like it. I'm honored to do the work and to try to progress in the best way that I can, to celebrate my life and celebrate the infinite, and yeah, I don't know what else. something that really helps, guys, is just if you haven't really thought of it this way, 3 things you can do that are really powerful. To do them together and intertwine them in the way that you see fit that helps. Because any way you can intertwine them, just breathe. Relax. And just stop thinking. Have the awareness. Have the awareness. And if you do, let's say you're feeling very aware and you're not thinking, you're just letting go, or you're meditating, or whatever it is. But then you're not breathing. Well, notice that you're not breathing and make sure you're relaxing, and just intertwine those things. And that has been super. Breath work in general, like I said yesterday, it's key. The breath, like we gotta infuse our breath with just powerful thoughts, powerful images, powerful emotions, and just fill it with life. Really, fill it with life, and that's how it goes, guys. The breath of life. It's the air. The air is so underrated. I'm not even gonna get into it. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to do one of these, see how it turns out, and like, subscribe. If you like it, that'll show me. If you made it this far, that'll show me that you got something out of it. And I don't know. Be the change, guys. Be it. Be the change. Stop talking and complaining about. I'm saying this because I do it too. Stop complaining and talking about and thinking about what you don't want, and just be it. Be what you want. Be that positive part of society. That positive friend. That positive human that can live to our highest potential. Be that, and be solid in it. Be solid in it, because when you let the things in, it's gonna, like I said yesterday, it's gonna fester on some level. You just can't let it in. You got to be in the flow and the now, and where things are real. Because when we're lost in this stuff, it's not real. It's not real at all. And gosh, no, this is really helpful. Just the more I do this, it's helpful, and I really appreciate all your guys' support, your comments, and you guys are crushing it. Everyone that I've talked to, every single person basically that I've talked to, has just been like, wow, man. Everyone seems to be going for it. We have to go for it. We can't look back. We can't have the doubts. There's no point. Don't let it in. Let's get to our results faster. Let's accelerate down the path. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's just keep going. Keep going. Eating the colorful fruits and the chlorophyll-rich, just mineral-filled, just amazing vegetables, and some soaked nuts and seeds too. And let's just, and that right there is heaven on earth. That right there is heaven on earth. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to let you guys go, but it's okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Be strong in yourself. Master this thing, master it. Be able to deal with life, to deal with your emotions, to deal with situations and people and emotions. Like I said, to deal with your fears, your doubts, your angers, whatever it is. Let's let's tune in and power up, because most of you guys are seekers, but not seeking in the way that a lot of these people seek, but seeking in the way that isn't really seeking. Because it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing. And let's just go. Let's just go to Wellville. So, love you guys. Peace, love, and raw, vibrant rejuvenation. Bam.